I'd like to tell about a discovery I made by accident as to how the human body reacts to certain conditions. I'll start this story with this. When I was about 80, my blood pressure started creeping up gradually. And so it got to the point where it was growing a little dangerous. So I went to a doctor and she prescribed 2 milligrams of Cadura. That worked fine. It controlled my blood pressure for a couple of years, but then again, it started working up because as a person gets older, your veins become less elastic and the heart has to pump more forcibly to get the blood to your body and your brain and so forth. So then, when the blood pressure again had worked its way up to where it was not proper, I took another 1 milligram of Cadura. And again, this worked very well for about 2 years. At the end of that 2 years, my blood pressure had worked itself up to, I had to take another milligram of Cadura.
So you're taking 4 at this time?
Taking 4 at this time, and now, about a year ago, I had to go to 5 milligrams of Cadura. At that same time, I have a bad shoulder. I heard it when I was skiing back about 30 years ago. Then I heard it again about 10 years ago. And gradually over time, it got to the point it was so sore, I really couldn't put my arm into a sleeve of a sugar coat without great pain. I go to a doctor and he x-rays it and he sees that I've developed some arthritis in that shoulder. He gives me some simple exercises to relieve the pain. And there were simple exercises, just rotating your arm and doing certain simple exercise and so forth. And as I did those, I began to think that as an older person, I'm gradually losing muscle mass. So I thought perhaps I could actually recover my muscle mass if I did more intensive isometric exercises. So I started doing various exercises and so forth. And this started about a year ago when I started the more intensive exercises. So as a couple of months later, I found out that I didn't need this one because it was running my blood pressure too low and it made me a little bit dizzy. So I keep my exercises up and I find out that a couple months later, I had to reduce it again.
So we're down to 3 due to isometric exercises.
That's right. Now, the reason isometric exercises work in relieving blood pressure is this. When you do your isometric exercises, you actually strain against muscle and muscle, which, truthfully, it does increase the elasticity of the veins and arteries so that your heart doesn't have to pump so much, so strongly, so your blood pressure doesn't go up. So, as I continue with my exercises, I remove another, and I'm now down to 2 milligrams.
And this is after how many months?
This is after about 7 months.
7 months.
Just 7 months.
And we're going to go through your isometric exercises, what you do.
Now, in addition to my isometric exercises, I walk every night. So when I increase my isometric exercises to increase muscle mass development and growth, I do it when I'm walking. Now, there's several of these, and I'll run through most of them. Now, as I walk along, my first exercise is that I hook my fingers together and I pull against it with substantial energy and strength. And as I walk, I count them off. I do 15 seconds.
So
Hold this for 15 seconds.
You're pulling apart.
Pulling apart.
Okay. And how many do you do?
I do 15 of them. I do 15 of them, which takes me 15 seconds.
Okay.
So then I rest for 15 seconds so that, because your blood pressure does run up when you do isometric exercise, so you don't want to hold it up there.
Okay.
So I do 15 steps, right, 15 seconds, and then I do my next exercise, which is putting considerable pressure this way.
Okay,
this
compression,
way.
okay.
Compression. 15 seconds. I walk another 15 steps or 15 seconds. So then my next one is this. I really put pressure. This arm wants to go out, so I hold it with this. And you can see that there's pressure on that.
Right.
Again,
So you're,
15 seconds. I rest for 15 steps or 15 seconds. And I go the other way for 15 seconds.
so you're going down then on the
No,
second
I'm
one.
coming in.
Oh, coming in.
Coming
Okay.
in, like this.
So one's going out and the other one's coming
One
in.
and two. Yeah.
Okay.
So then the next one I do while I'm still working on this arm, this one arm wants to come up, so I hold it down. I hold it down like that.
Okay.
15 seconds, then I rest for 15 seconds as I walk along. Then I turn the arm over, and the arm wants to come up, so I hold it down like this. So you can see I'm working all the muscles of this right arm, plus all this chest in here, and especially the back. I can feel the muscle developing across the back and top of my shoulders. I'm walking along, again, I just shift to the other side. This arm wants to go that way, so I hold it 15 seconds, and I rest for 15 seconds as I walk. And again, just the opposite, this arm wants to come in. I hold it like this, 15 seconds. Then, just repeating the other arm, then this arm wants to come up, so I hold it down like this. And then 15 seconds each way. Then again, the arm wants to go down, I'm holding it, so it won't go down, 15 seconds. So, those are the basic exercises.
How hard do you do that? Is it as hard as you can, or is it just maybe somewhere halfway in between?
About maybe 60 or 70%, about 60%
Of your strength?
of my strength, yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to do too much because you don't want that blood pressure to pop up so high that you have a stroke or you have a heart attack.
Right.
That's why I rest those 15 seconds in between.
Right. And when you're first starting out, of course, you probably don't do 15 seconds. You might do less than that and just work your way
You want
up.
to start out slowly, exactly. Start out slowly. You may only even do 5 seconds, and give your heart a chance to
Recuperate.
to catch up with what you're doing.
Right.
But I'm up to 15 seconds now. And think about the blood pressure. It has dropped from 5 milligrams of Cadura to 2.
And you're still heading down, maybe.
Yeah, oh yeah, still heading down.
You're 88 years old, and now you might even eventually get off of your blood pressure medicine because of your isometric exercises.
That would be great. That would be great. But
Is that all the exercises you do? Are those the main ones?
oh no, I'll go
What
through
else?
some more.
Okay.
Okay. First off, I take my fist and I bear down on the wall like that. And again, I put about 60% of my strength into it.
Okay.
And that's
So you're
15
pushing against the wall,
Yeah.
but you're leaning into
Yeah.
the wall. Okay.
Now, if your knuckles are tender, you can get a piece of cloth or whatever in there.
Right.
Then I reverse. The object is to do all of my body, so that means all of my veins and arteries are regaining this elasticity, which lowers my blood pressure. And I do the opposite. Put my elbows against it, I lean against the wall, and I put energy and pressure and strength against the wall. Then I turn and I put my arm against this wall, like this. And I'll lean into it pretty strongly, 15 seconds, then I rest for 15 seconds, then I do the other side. And the same thing, I lean against the wall, put pressure against it, 15 seconds rest. Those are the basic ones. There's some others about this, coming up the back and stuff, but basically those are for my shoulder, and they don't add a lot to the development of the muscle mass.
Right. And maybe the blood pressure reduction too.
Yeah.
So.
And they do work. They work on the a little bit on the blood pressure, but
Okay.
I discovered this just by happenstance, that and related to what I was doing during the last few months, and this intake of medicine, because I'd like to have a body I didn't have to take medicine to, and that is my only medicine, is that one for blood pressure.
All right.
That's the story.
All right. That's good. Hopefully that'll help a lot of people.
I hope it will too. Especially the older people. You don't have to take all of those medicines. One time I went into a doctor just recently, and they always ask you, the lady that's my heart doctor, and we had a new receptionist, and she said, well, what is your medication? I said, 2 milligrams of Kadura. She says, well, are you sure? I said, what do you mean? She says, usually people at 88, when they come in here, they've got a whole handful of pills. So you must take care of that human body. It's amazing what it's capable of if you take care of your exercise, what you eat, you know.
All right.
That's it. Thanks, Fred, for videoing this.
All right.
I hope